I call the next part of the Dinner Special podcast the pressure cooker. I'm going to ask you 7 fast and fun questions that we want to know your answers to. Are you up for it?
Yes,
Okay,
definitely.
awesome. Number one, I mean, you mentioned a few already, but which food shows or cooking shows do you watch?
I do watch The Pioneer Woman just because it's a wonderful escape from real life. Like she's got this amazing ranch and she makes all this like delicious, like comforting, fatty food. It's great. I love that show. And oh, Jamie at Home. That was a short-lived show, but that was a really good show by Jamie Oliver. That like he has a beautiful garden and he like sits outside with a little cutting board on his lap and just like he like reaches over and like plucks fresh herbs. Oh, it's great. I
Yeah, I've
love
seen that show. It seems like he's got like the perfect life, right? Like all his like groceries are like right in his backyard, and he's
it.
just like
Yeah,
out there
it's
like
amazing. And
picking
he's like,
stuff up and eating it,
yeah,
sticking it in his mouth, cutting it up.
exactly.
Now, number two, what are some food blogs or websites we have to know about?
I would so kind of the sense that we get in the food blog world is that there's just so many blogs out there, and I think a lot of them don't get enough credit because everybody's just really passionate about food and just telling their stories. So a couple that we like, one of them would be Omnivore's Cookbook, which is this girl named Maggie, and she actually was living in Beijing at the same time as we were. And my sister and her actually like met up and talked about food. And she has a great blog that has authentic recipes that are, I think she makes them a little bit easier and more approachable, but they still kind of have that good authentic taste of, Chinese food. So we really like her blog. Um, Another blog would be Little Cooking Tips, which is this really cute, really friendly couple in Greece named Panos and Morella, and they're so nice. They have really good Greek recipes. Like I just was on their website today. They had like a finger licking feta and sausage mac and cheese, and I was like, that sounds really good. So they have a lot of good like kind of fusiony Greek recipes. So we like them. Um, Hummingbird High. I saw that. I think she was like one of your most recent podcast guests. Yeah, her photography is gorgeous and her cakes look so good. Every time I like want cake, I just go to her Instagram and then I kind of like visually eat it and then I'm like, all right, that's good enough.
You do that too. Awesome.
But yeah, those are just a few. I mean, there's so many out there, but
Great.
those are just a couple that we've been enjoying recently.
Perfect. Number three, who do you follow on Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, or Snapchat that make you happy?
So I'm not quite sure about Pinterest because that's my mother's domain. She is the Pinterest master. But on Instagram, we follow a bunch of people, but I would say a couple of really good accounts are here, let me just like pull them up quickly. There's one by Dennis Prescott,
Yeah,
or it's
Dennis the
called
Prescott.
Dennis the Prescott. His photography is gorgeous, and all of his food just looks so freaking yummy. Like, he's just one of those people that I go back to time and time again. I'm just like, that looks so freaking good.
It's
Like,
his
it's
burger pictures too. Like he has these
yes.
like
Then it
crazy.
like gets the juice dripping down. Oh, he knows. He knows how to handle food. So that's one. Another one that I really like is Symmetry Breakfast. They do so it's like I think it's a couple, and they just take pictures of breakfast that they have together, and it's perfectly symmetrical, and it's just so perfect for somebody who's a little OCD like me. It's just beautiful. I love it. And they eat like they've got really great stuff. Like they have like a baguette that's like cut open and like baked with eggs inside. Like they know how to live. Like they eat good for breakfast. Like I just roll out of bed and like I'm lucky if I have a piece of toast. So those are just a couple that I like, but there's so many people on Instagram that just have amazing photography, and it gets to the point where it can be hard to keep up because so many people are just putting out amazing content. But yeah,
Right.
those are two that I love.
Perfect. Number 4. What is the most unusual or treasured item you have in your kitchen?
Huh. Unusual or treasured? Hmm. I would say I would say kind of unusual for a non-Chinese audience that is actually very useful is a it's like a it's a tong device for picking up plates. So like if you put a hot dish in a steamer, you don't want to like grab it. So it's like it kind of goes like this, and
Okay.
then you can grab the plate and lift it out. That's a really amazing, underrated, and not that well known tool.
Yep.
So for anybody listening, you should go buy one. And most treasured, I would say, is probably my grandfather's cleaver. So on my dad's side, the same one that makes the sticky rice chicken. He was a chef, and they actually had a Chinese restaurant for a number of years. So we have his old cleaver that actually has his initials carved in the side because there's a bunch of chefs in the kitchen, so you want to differentiate which one's yours. So we don't use it that one often, but it's still very sharp.
Wow.
It's kind of interesting. Like it's years and years old, but it's still really good.
Cool. Number 5. Name one ingredient you used to dislike that you now love.
Used to dislike that now love. Okay, cilantro. I used to not like I didn't hate it. Like there's some people out there that hate cilantro. I never hated it, but I never really liked it until maybe I was like 14 and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so good." Like adds so much flavor. And if you have a guacamole that has no cilantro, like I'm sorry, but that's not real guacamole. You need it. And when you're putting it on like steamed fish with like soy sauce and scallions and ginger, like you need the cilantro. It adds a little
Absolutely.
something.
For
Yeah.
sure. For sure. Well, number 6. What are a few cookbooks that make your life better?
Okay, I know exactly how to answer this. Ina Garden has a cookbook that is, I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's the pink one. So people that know Ina Garden's cookbook, there's like a blue one and there's an orange one. Like the orange one is like Barefoot in Paris, and there's a pink one, which is kind of like her basics cookbook. There is a chocolate cake recipe in that cookbook called Beatty's Chocolate Cake. It changed my life. Like this chocolate cake recipe is the only one you will ever need. It's so moist. The frosting is perfect. And it's kind of sad actually because if you flip through the whole book, almost every page is like totally pristine. And then when you go to this chocolate cake recipe, there's just like schmutz all over it. There's like stains and like drips of buttermilk because that's how often I make that cake. It's just this is more of a PSA than an interview question, I feel like, because that cake is truly the best. Like we make it for friends and they rave, they love it.
Okay, so definitely have to check out the pink Ina Garten cookbook.
Yes.
Awesome. Now, finally, number 7. What song or album just makes you want to cook?
Okay, so for my sister, I would say it would definitely be like Nat King Cole, like all those classics. Like she was just saying today, actually, how, kind of, makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside. And it's just a really homey kind of sound to cook to. For me, I would say if anybody's ever seen the movie Something's Gotta Give with Diane Keaton and Jack Nicholson, that soundtrack is one of our favorites for cooking because it's all this like French bistro music and kind of like whets your appetite. And, you feel so jazzy like walking around the kitchen, like pulling a chicken out of the oven. Feels very glamorous.
Perfect. Well, congratulations, Kaitlin. You have officially survived the pressure cooker.
Yay! Thank you. That was fun.